Okay, so what I really can't believe is that there aren't any decent, actually forget decent, there aren't any Lemmings 3 videos at all anywhere on YouTube, or at least I haven't been able to find any. So I intend to fix that right now. Let's get a Lemmings 3 video going here with voice annotation, since this game, well, you'll see why. There's the Signosis logo, which you probably can't see very well because it's resized. Okay, so here we go. So here's the story, and I'd love to actually sit and just watch the whole story, but it's basically just how the Lemmings tribes, left over from Lemmings 2, the tribes got into their big hot air balloon, and just decided to go exploring. So, you can watch that on your own if you like. I'm just going to skip that. Okay, isn't this a jolly scene? This is the main menu of the game, where you can configure options like basically just graphics and sound options. Also, there's an adults versus kids option, which is kind of neat. This game continues the Lemmings tradition of having some kind of gory death animations for some of the Lemmings. So basically you play one of 3 tribes, or you can play up to 3 different tribes in this game. There's the Shadow Lemmings, which are kind of, basically they're like ninjas, I guess. Classic Lemmings, just, your basic Lemmings from the original games, and then the Egyptian-style Lemmings. I'm going to start with the classic Lemmings, just because the first classic Lemmings level is very simple. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pause the game. By the way, that's P on the keyboard. Press P to pause the game, where you can click on this button. So you'll see the layout is kind of different. First of all, the left 3 buttons, this one, and this one, give you basically unlimited uses. The first button, let me show you what each of these things do. The first button just shows a walking lemming, right? You can use that, click on them, and turn them around, see? Now this alone obviously changes the makeup of the game hugely, because one of the big things in all the classic Lemmings games is that you can turn them around. You can't just turn them around, you have to usually make them build something, and then that'll turn them around. And you can do this as many times as you like. This doesn't, all of these 3 buttons give you unlimited uses, so you can turn these guys around as much as you want. You can turn this guy around, wow, have him go that way, turn that guy around, turn that guy around. Great, so that easy. These guys are stuck down here now. So this is your classic blocker, and just as in the original games, you can set any of these guys to be a blocker, and there you go. Now he's not letting any of the others pass. The other neat thing is you can now turn blockers back into walkers, back into regular Lemmings, just by clicking on them just like that. So this button basically has 2 functions. It lets you turn your Lemmings around, and it lets you turn a blocker back into a walker. That's the blocker, and this one makes the Lemmings jump. This is kind of cool. You might remember a jump skill from Lemmings 2, the tribes, but the difference here is that you can also use this one as many times as you like. So there you go. I didn't jump to the right spot. There we go. I'm just going to have these guys jump to freedom. Okay, and Lemmings carry over, so I saved all 20 Lemmings in this level, which means I'm going to have 20 Lemmings for this next level, which is kind of important because basically you only get 20 Lemmings to start with, and you have to kind of carry them through the game. I'm going to press Escape to get out of this. I'm going to switch to the Ninja, the Shadow Lemmings. Okay, by the way, the story behind these Shadow Lemmings is that the place they landed on the island is kind of inhabited, and you can see there's all these buildings around. Later on, they'll run into hostile life forms. By the way, there are enemies in this game. It's not like other Lemmings games. There are actually enemies that'll attack you, so it becomes more like a kind of arcade type of game almost, in some ways. Okay, so you're already familiar with the first 3 buttons then. This one's to make them walk or turn them around. That's for your blocker. That's just for jumping. Basically, they'll do the same thing here, so I'll make this guy jump. Whee! The other 2 buttons are kind of what makes the game a pain. See this little red thing on the ground? That's a skill, actually. That's cool. If you mouse over it, it'll actually show you what it is. It's a pile of 24 blocks. And these blocks are kind of equivalent to the builders in the previous Lemmings game. So you can, pick up these blocks and, well, we have them do that. I'll just let this lemming walk up there and, he picked up all those blocks. That's great. So now you can right-click on this button. It'll show you all the available skills that you have. And right now I only have that one because that's all we picked up. We just picked up those boxes and that's it. So use this button now to select whichever skill you want to use. In this case, we only have one. And notice it highlights this guy red. So I can, say I want to make this guy use his skill. That's what this button is for. And this one is just to drop a box or whatever that you've picked up. So I can, use this and click on this guy. Say, there you go, drop that. Now another guy, somebody else must have. Oh, no, I think the same guy picked it up again. Come on, drop your box. What? That's annoying. What's supposed to happen is he's supposed to. Oh, I think I see what happened. Oh, another guy. Yeah, that's what's happening. Another guy's picking it up. See, I make this guy. You know what? It's kind of hard to tell because there's all these lemmings crowding around. But basically, what happens when I click on this guy is he drops it, and then somebody else picks it up. Yeah, so another lemming walks by and picks up that box they drop on the ground. Anyway, so basically that's what these 5 buttons do. This is, the first 3, and then this is to use a skill, and this is to make some lemming drop a box that he has. And by the way, you can switch between, if you don't like using the mouse, you just want a keyboard shortcut, F1 through F5. F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. Okay, so that's these 5 things. This is the, the timer clock. Of course, each Lemmings level has a time limit, so you don't want to run out of time. This is to fast forward. You've seen this in previous games, probably. Enter is the keyboard shortcut for that. I press Enter on the keyboard, it makes it fast forward. Pause is P. Also, you can use F12. If you press F12, not only does it pause the game, it also shows you this neat little map overview of the whole level. Flashing green blips are all your lemmings. If there are any enemies on a level, they'll be flashing red blips. This level has no enemies, so you don't need to worry about that. But that's F12. Very useful. And then, of course, there's the usual nuke, which you have to double-click, as in previous games. Pow. Okay, you do that if you don't like the way the level's going. Okay, so restart level 1. Okay, so this level is pretty simple, but it is a little bit more involved than the classic level that we just saw because I have to use this skill. So right now this button does nothing because I have no skills. He's shaking his head. He doesn't know how to do anything. Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, so that guy. Why do I pause? I don't need to pause. Okay, so this guy highlighted in red is going to build in a minute. Oh, one other thing that I did neglect to mention: you can right-click on any lemming. Watch this. See, you can right-click on any lemming with the mouse like that to highlight him red. That'll then make him the lemming that does whatever order that you give, which is important because if you remember from previous Lemmings games, it becomes really difficult sometimes to pick a lemming heading in the right direction. Sometimes, when you have a big mess of lemmings like this, you want to only click a guy who's, let's say somebody who's facing left, and you just, kind of click somewhere and you accidentally get a guy who's going to the right. It's really random. There's not really a good way to pick a lemming that you want to assign something to. So this is great. Now you can right-click on a lemming in this game Okay, anyway, so I'm going to use this skill now, so I go ahead and right-click on this again, and it shows me this guy highlighted in red is the one who has those blocks. So I'm going to start building right around here. And now it gives me this neat little directional indicator. Now I can't, the red arrows down here mean I can't build in that direction, but I can build diagonally up left, straight up, or up right. Now if you build straight up, what happens is he actually builds a column. He's actually going to start stacking blocks on top of each other. He's going to build a wall that goes up like that. But I want to build just a classic bridge, just like in classic Lemmings games, so I'm going to click this way. And it just becomes your basic builder skill, just like in previous games. And, nuts, I started a little too far to the right. He doesn't have, okay, I'm going to need to make this guy build here. I'm just going to build one up and have him stop. And then I'm just going to click somewhere there. Okay, there we go. So now he can... Oh, now these guys are trapped. Oh, that's annoying. These guys are stuck because